Shalom Aleichem to all you listening. Today we'll be learning Perek Beis of Mesechus Berachot. Mishna Aleph. If someone was reading in the Torah the parashas of Shema, in V'yigia Zman HaMikra, and the Zman Krishma came, and the time for saying Krishma arrived. Im Kivin Liboy, if a person set his heart to having a mind that he'll be Mekayim the mitzvah of Krishma with what he's saying, Yatsa. So then he fulfills his obligation. V'im Lav, if not, if he just reads it, Lo Yatsa is not Yatsa Krishma. The Mishna now discusses when a person is allowed to make an interruption during his recital of Krishma, because generally a person is not allowed to make an interruption during Krishma. There are a few exceptions with the Mishna, which the Mishna will now address. So Bid Prakim, Bein HaPrakim, that means in between the paragraphs of Shema, Shoyel, he's allowed to ask welfare, the welfare of a person, Mepnei HaKavod, which brings honor to that person. Basically, like a teacher or a person's father or mother. So he's allowed to give them shalom or ask about their welfare because of honor, because of their honor. Umeshiv, and he's allowed to return a inquiry about his own welfare. Uve'emtza, and in the middle of the paragraph, shoyel mepnei hayira umeshiv. Then in the middle of the paragraph, he's only allowed to ask shalom because of fear for his life. Like, for example, a ruler that passes by and a person's afraid for his life. So he's allowed to ask shalom, umeshiv, and he's allowed to answer. Tivri Rabbi Meir, these are the words of Rabbi Meir. However, Rabbi Yehuda is a little more lenient, and he says, "Be'emtza," in the middle of the paragraph of Shema, basically in the middle of, let's say, V'hoyim Shemoya. So Shoyel Mepnei Hayira, he's allowed to ask about his welfare because of fear. Umeishiv Mepnei HaKavod, and he's allowed to answer because of honor, for the person's honor. And now Be'prakim, Bein HaPrakim, in between paragraphs, Shoyel Mepnei HaKavod, a person is allowed to ask welfare of a person that he has to give honor to. Umeishiv Shalom L'chol Adam, and is allowed to return a inquiry of Shalom to every person. That's Mishna Aleph. Mishnah Beis. Now the Mishnah discusses what is considered Bein HaPrakim and what is what is considered Bein HaPrakim, and Be'emtza HaPerek would be in the middle of that paragraph. So Bein Berachot Rishona L'Shniya, between the first bracha to the second bracha, between Yotzei HaMa'oros to Avas Olam, and Ma'ariv would be the Hamarav Aravim to Avas Olam. Bein Shniya L'Shma, between the second bracha and Shema, so that would be Aberche B'Am Yisrael Ba'avo to Shema and Shachris, and Oyev B'Am Yisrael by Ma'ariv. Uvein Shema L'V'hoyim Shemoya, and between Shema and V'hoyim Shemoya. Bein V'hoyim Shemoya L'Vayomer, Bein Vayomer L'Emes V'yatziv. However, there's Machlekes over Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Bein Vayomer L'Emes V'yatziv Lo Yafsik. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha said, Lama Kadma Shema L'V'hoyim Shemoya. Now the Mishnah is discussing basically the order of Krishma, the way we say it. What gives the order? It's surely not the order, it's the way it's written in the Torah, because the first parsha of Shema that's written in the Torah is actually Vayomer, the last, the parsha Shlach, and then Shema and V'hafta and V'eschanan, and then V'hoyim Shemoya and Ekev. So what's the order? What is the reason for the order of the three paragraphs of Shema? So Lama Kadma Shema L'V'hoyim Shemoya. Why do we say the paragraph of Shema before V'hoyim Shemoya? Because the first thing that a person should do is accept the yoke of heaven. Then a person accepts upon himself the yoke of the mitzvahs. V'hoyim Shmoya levayomer, and V'hoyim Shmoya goes before Vayomer, Shevahoyim Shmoya noheg bayom uvalayla, because the mitzvah in V'hoyim Shmoya, which goes on Talmud Torah, applies both by day and by night. Vayomer, and the mitzvah that's in Vayomer, which is Tzitzis, ein noheg ela bayom, only applies by day. So therefore, V'hoyim Shmoya comes first. Mishna Gimel. Hakoidei Shema, someone that reads the Shema, V'lohi Shmiya La'aznoi, and he didn't hear with what he said. And according to the Tanna Kamma, a person has to hear, in order to be Yotze, a person has to hear what he said, because he learned, it says Shema, so we learn from there. So you have the Hishama La'aznacha Masha At Moitze Beficha. We learn for the word Shema that you have to hear with your ears what your mouth is saying. So the Tanna Kamma holds, Hakodesh Shema v'lo Shmiya La'aznoi. If a person reads Shema and he didn't hear what he said, nevertheless you're Yotze. However, Rabbi Yossi says Lo Yotze, you're not Yotze. Kara v'lo Dikdek v'oisi Yesa. If a person read Shema and he wasn't careful in enunciating the words, so for example, the Mefarshim explain that there's a lot of words in Shema that the last letter and the first letter are the same, like Al Levavcha, Hakonof Psil, that the last letter and the first letter are the same. So if a person is not medayik to separate them, then Rabbi Yossi says Yatza, you're nevertheless Yotze. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Lo Yotze, Rabbi Yehuda says you're not Yotze. Hakodesh Mafreya, if someone reads Shema backwards, Lo Yotze, person's not Yotze. Kodav, if a person read and made a mistake, so Yachzer L'Mokum Shito, you return to the place that you made the mistake. And the halacha, the Kahati explains the halacha in the first two cases, the Mishna, Hakodesh Shema v'lo Shmiya La'aznoi and Kara v'lo Dikdek v'oisi Yesa, the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi in both cases. Mishna Dalet, Hu'umonim, workers, Koidin Berachot Ilon, they are allowed to read Shema on the top of a tree, so the halacha doesn't require them to go down from the tree to read Shema. Oy Berosh Hanidbak, or on the top of a wall of stones. However, they're allowed to do this by Krishma. However, they're not allowed to do this by Tefillah, by Shemona Esrei. Halacha would require them to go down from the Ilon, the tree, or the Nidbak, the wall of stones, by Tefillah. Mishna Hay. So, Mishna Hay. Chosen Potter Mikrishma B'Layla Rishon Ad Motzei Shabbos. Chosen, groom, is exempt from the mitzvah Krishma on the first night after he gets married until Motzei Shabbos. Im lo yasa ma'isa. If he didn't do the Bilas mitzvah yet, so then he's part from Krishma until Motzei Shabbos. And the explanation goes like this: that a chosen that marries a basula is potter from Krishma on the first night of his wedding, because he's torud. Either because he's torud, he's worried that he won't find basulim, or because he's oisik b'mitzvah, he's potter min mitzvah. So he's potter from Krishma that first night. And when the Mishnah says until Motzei Shabbos, is because they were noyig in those days to marry a basula on Wednesday night. So so it says Ad Motzei Shabbos, the Mishnah is telling that from Wednesday night until Motzei Shabbos, meaning 4 nights, he's parted from Krishma if he didn't do the Be'ilas mitzvah. Maisa b'Rabbi Gamliel shekara b'Layla Rishon shenasa. There's a story that Rabbi Gamliel, he read the Shema on the first night of his marriage. Omer loy talmidav, his students asked him, loy l'matonu Rabbeinu, didn't you teach us, Rabbi, shechosin pater mikrishma b'Layla Rishon, that a chosin is exempt from Krishma on the first night? Omer lahem, so Rabbi Gamliel answered the students, Eini shemei lechem, I am not going to listen to you, Levata meni machu shamayim afilu sha'achas. I am not going to listen to you and nullify from me the yoke of heaven even for a short time. And so the Rabbi Gamliel was basically saying to his students, Chumra ani noeg ba'atzmi. I keep upon myself a chumrah to read Shema, because Shema represents accepting the yoke of heaven, and I'm not gonna push away the accepting the yoke of heaven even for a small time. Now we have another story with Rabbi Gamliel, Mishna Vav. Rochatz b'layla harishon shemeisa ishtoi. He bathed on the first night after his wife passed away. So the halacha is that an oval is not allowed to bathe in hot water, and Rabbi Gamliel nevertheless bathed in hot water. So Amar Lo Talmidav, so the students asked him, Lo Matonu Rabbeinu, didn't you teach us, Rebbe, she'ovel asar lechutz, that a oval, that a mourner is forbidden to wash? Amar Lahem, so that an oval is forbidden to wash. Amar Lahem, so Rabbi Gamliel answered his students, Ani eini kishar kol adam. I'm not like any other person. Isinis ani. I am of delicate nature, meaning that it's if I didn't, that means I bathed, because if I wouldn't bathe, I would be bitzar. And the rechitza of an oval, the bathing of an oval, is not a rechitza. It's not asur. All rechitza of an oval is asur. Only a rechitza shaltainug. So, meaning Rabbi Gamliel, this wasn't a rechitza shaltainug. It was to remove to remove tsar. So therefore, he was allowed to bathe al pi halacha. Mishna Zayin. Uchshemeis Tovi Avdoi, when his Tovi, his servant, passed away, Kibel alav tachnunim, he accepted consolement on him. Amar Lo Talmidav. So again, his students asked him, Lo Matonu Rabbeinu, didn't you teach us, Rebbe, She'em mekabel tachnunim al avodim, that you don't accept consolement on servants? Amar Lahem. So Rabbi Gamliel answered the students, Ein Tovi Avdi Kishar Kol Avodim. Tovi, my servant, is not like other servants. Kosher Oyam. Tovi was kosher, and there's Mefarshim explain what does kosher mean. So one explanation is that kosher meaning he was medaktik b'mitzvahs, so therefore he's robed, he's fitting that, and he's not like other avodim that don't get that a person doesn't accept tachnunim. He qualifies. He's not like them, and I am fitting to accept tachnunim on him. And another explanation is that there's a Talmid Chacham, that he was a Torah scholar, so therefore he accepted tachnunim. Mishna Ches Chasen. A chasen that wishes to recite Shema on his first night of his chasana, he's allowed to read. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, however, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, Lo yikol haroitze lito les Hashem yitom. Not everyone that wishes to take the name Chosid or Medaktik b'mitzvahs yito could take it. Meaning that not everyone could be on the standard of Rabbi Gamliel. That he was able to overcome the worry and etc. on the first night of his wedding. And it says that a person, a chosin that is not mufursim, that he's a chosin and a medaktik in mitzvahs. So it's not fitting that he should be stringent on himself and read Shema on the first night of his wedding, because that will be like boasting, that a person that he's basically saying that the whole year I have the right kavanah, and then elamai, the first night of my wedding, the night of my wedding, because it's the first night of my wedding, I can't have the right intention. But a person that is medaktik b'mitzvah is surely allowed to read Shema the first night. And Bali HaTosfos, right, that in our times that we're not so we don't have that much kavanah when we say Shema on other days. So every chassan reads Shema on the first night of his wedding. And on the contrary, if a person doesn't read, that shows that he's basically saying that every night I have the right kavanah, and the night of my wedding I'm not going to have the right kavanah because of the tirdas hamitzvah. Thank you, and next week we'll begin learning Perek Shlishi.